Hebrews. This is our non-Messianic conversation channel. This is our Sabbath Class, 15th of May, 2021. Before we get started, I was going to advise everybody to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification button. Okay, we're going to go into our moment of silence for Creator and for His Redeemer, the Lord of hosts, and all that they are doing to bring about prophecy. So with that, we're going to do our Sabbath prayer, and then we're going to go into do either Psalms and then go into current event. Okay. O Lord, righteousness and uprightness belongeth unto thee. Therefore we come before thee at this hour, seeking thy face, looking for righteousness and uprightness, that we may walk before thee as thou servant David and Solomon, Samuel and Hezekiah did, that we may walk before thee in truth and in righteousness and in rightness of heart. Give unto us, O Lord, an understanding heart, that we may discern between good and bad, where you possess the power to turn us, O Lord. For we desire to walk after thee, O Lord, keep your commandments and your testimony and your statutes with all our heart and soul, to perform the words of the covenant that was written down by your prophets. O Lord, allow thy face to shine upon thy people. Hear our plea, hear and do, O Lord. Hide not thy face from us, for we need you so very much at this hour. Peace be unto you, Lord. Okay, so we're going to read a psalm. Okay. Psalm 95 is a song of praise to a great God. O come, let us sing unto the Lord. Let us make a joyful noise to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before his presence with thanksgiving and make a joyful noise unto him with songs. For the Lord is a great God, and a great King above all gods. In his hand are the deep places of the earth. The strength of the hills is his also. The sea is his, and he made it, and his hands formed the dry land. O come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker. For he is our God, and we are a people of his pasture, and the sheep of his hand. Today, if ye will hear his voice, harden not your heart as in provocation, and as in the days of temptation in the wilderness, when your fathers tempted me. Prove me and show my work. 40 years long was I grieved with this generation, and said, it is a people that do err in their heart. They have not known my ways. Unto whom I swore in my wrath that they should not enter into my rest. Okay, so that was Psalms 95, and it was a song of praise to a great God. So the very last verse was, he said that, unto whom I swear in my wrath that they should not enter into my rest. So what is his rest? It's the Sabbath day. So 6 days they work, 7 days they rest. It's the same way he done in the beginning. And as of this day, we not in the land where he at. So, okay. All right. Shalom.
Shalom.
Okay. Anybody got any current events? Okay, I'm gonna read this right here. You know, Okay, so right here it's saying that let me get this right quick. It's saying that Russia is going to try to clone an army of 3,000-year-old Scandinavian warriors. So when you understand who the Scandinavian warriors are, you know, they tied to the Vikings, and then they tied to, they're redheads, like we talked about, we discussed last night. And they go some of their bones right there. These bones are giants. So cloning ain't nothing new. They've been doing this. So we're gonna read some more of it. So the Russian defense minister suggested he wants to clone a group of ancient warriors. That's going to be tricky to date. There haven't been any human clones, and the odds are low for even a non-human clone. That's a lie, because they got clones all over the place right now. So it says the legality of cloning is murky because of the medical uses of specific kinds of cloning. When you hold a job like defense minister of Russia, you presumably have to be bold and think outside the box to protect your country from every advances. And with his latest strategic idea of cloning an entire army of ancient warriors, so I can't say his name. So Gary Shion is certainly taking on a big swing. So like I said, in order to do this cloning, you got to have the DNA. So if you go back to all about, like I said, these redhead giants, they was on Mount Hunt, they was on Mount Seir, where Esau intermingled with them. But when you go back and do your research, these redhead giants is all over. They found thousands of graves of redhead giants all over in America, North and South America. The Indians tell stories about, they was cannibals. They eat people. And the Indians tell stories about how they was encountered them. They come out at night, attack their villages, grab children and women and people and take them off in the cave and eat them. So, like I was saying before, they using these, they were discovering these bones all over the place. But like the guy was saying, the bones would disappear. And so it make it look like when you start talking about the Bible, Genesis chapter 6, and about giants, it's as if you're delusional or something, because every time somebody would come up with evidence, all these resource facilities would come in and scoop up the bones and they keep them. So we see why they're capable of making clones, because they got the bones. They just go into there and get the DNA out of the bones, and then they can recreate it. And I mentioned the giant that showed up a couple of years ago in Kandahar and attacked that group of soldiers. Then he didn't just pop up out of nowhere. They have the capabilities of doing this. It's like I said, it sounds far-fetched, but they have the capabilities of doing it. It's tied to the fact that those we was looking at about a month or so ago, that big ritual they had going on in Egypt with those bones of those pharaohs, the way they presented it, and all the expense they took in going to bring them out. So they got the public food on what they're capable of doing. So I'm finished reading. It says in an online session of Russian Geographical Society last month, Shugu, a close ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin, suggested using the DNA of 3,000-year-old Scandinavian warriors to potentially bring back to life. Yes, really. First, some background, Scandinavian people who originally came from the modern day Iran were nomads who traveled around Eurasia between the 9th and the second centuries BC, building a powerful empire that endured for several centuries before finally being phased out by its competitors. Two decades ago, archaeologists uncovered a well-preserved remains. See that? They 2 decades ago, archaeologists uncovered a well-preserved remains of soldiers in Kurgan or burial mounds in Tuva region of Siberia. So see right there, they got the DNA. All they need is the DNA. They say they telling you right here they found the well-preserved remains. Right, that's all they need. Because of Tova's position in southern Siberia, much of its permafrost, meaning a form of soil or turf that always remains frozen. It was preserved by the cold. It's here where the Scandinavian warrior saga grows complex because the frozen soil preserves biological matter better than any other kind of ground. The Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu knows this better than anyone because he's from the region. Okay, says because of To's position in southern Siberia, much of his permafrost. I read that. So of course, we would like very much to find an organic matter, and I believe you understand what will follow. What will follow that? Hugo told the Russian Geographical Society it would be possible to make something of it. If not, Dolly the sheep in general, it will be very interesting. So, in case for somebody that don't know, they cloned the sheep. The sheep was called Dolly. The reason why they're saying that. So you go subtly suggested going through some kind of human cloning process, but is that possible? But is that even possible? To date, no one has cloned a human being, but scientists have successfully executed the therapeutic cloning of individual kinds of cells and other specific gene editing work. And of course, there is high profile examples of cloning pretty complex animals. Earlier this year, for example, scientists cloned an endangered U.S. species for the first time, a black-footed ferret whose donor has been dead for more than 30 years. Okay, so like I said, they pros at doing misinformation because when you go back and do your research, they was cloning. The Egyptians was doing cloning, so don't go for that. Okay. So anybody got any comments? So like I was saying, another thing about that is looking at the fact that um, they talk about in Revelations how this million man army is supposed to be coming to fight against you know, to fight against at the end, the very end. And like I said before last night, I'm mentioning Revelations because it's a lot of Book of Daniel that's in the Book of Revelations. So I'm dealing with it from that perspective because I understand that all they did was to make Revelation legitimate, and any those other books in the New Testament, they just took truths from the Old Testament, stuck them over in the New Testament. So let me go into that right quick. Silence is acting up. So when you look at what's going on, they're saying, why would they even be trying to get bring back some of these giants and these Scandinavians because they were violent. They were real violent. They was tall, big, and they was violent. And that's where a lot of I was saying about this when you're looking at people DNA. Where these redhead folks come from? When guys showing you right here, they over in Siberia, way in the farthest reaches of the cold. How you get DNA over here? These Scandinavians, these Vikings went everywhere, raping everybody.
They come from Neanderthals. They come from the Neanderthals.
Right, exactly. The Neanderthals intermingled with JFAC.
Right.
When you understand the story, and then even uh, right here it says Russia is going to try to clone an army of 3,000-year-old Scandinavians. But go back 3,000 years. You you spot on with the reign of David when Israel was at its greatest heights. Yeah, and so it's also looking at it from Hebrews perspective. That's 3 days. 3 days, 3,000 years. 1,000 years is one day with the Lord. So it's saying a whole lot than what you think it's saying. So it says 3,000 years ago. Let's read that right quick. A whole lot going on with that. So I'm in Hosea. Yeah, man. Yeah, okay. Hosea says right here. Hosea chapter 6 says, "Come, let us return unto the Lord, for he hath torn, he will heal us. He hath smitten, he will bind us up. After 2 days, that's 2,000 years. So let the story be told. So-called Jesus Christ existed 2,000 years ago. So it says, after 2 days, will he revive us in the third day? That's 3,000 years ago. In the third day, he will raise us up, and we shall live in his sight. So there's a whole lot going on with that. So anyway, why they trying to raise these people up? Well, they giants. They really are giants. Like I told you, they're violent. So let's look at that. I mean, Joel. They know all this, but we find it out now, but they know this. They got all our books. So I mean, Joel chapter 2. I told you that Ezekiel 37, the Most High already told them we're gonna raise up army in the last days out of their graves. And they're gonna stand up on their feet, a exceedingly great army. And he says, so the whole house of Israel. So, and then verse 2, chapter 2 of Joel show you what they're gonna be capable of doing. So I'm gonna read some of that. Blow ye a trumpet in Zion, sound an alarm in my holy mountain, and let all inhabitants of the land tremble. Why? Because this army. For the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountain, a great people and strong that have not been ever the light, neither shall there be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. So you say, well, what you talking about? Okay, just look at today and in the past, World War I and World War II. Uh, the Germans had these scientists creating all these different armaments, and they build their army up. Well, if you America and you see what the Germans doing, then you're gonna start building your army up. Well, these clowns already know about Joel chapter 2, and they know it's the Most High. Sure enough, it's gonna happen because he spoke it. So if he spoke it, it's gonna happen. Well, they know the time. They're looking at the signs. Like I said, Most High deal with signs. They understand that we throw the sun and the moon and all this, his creation giving our signs that he get ready to come back. Well, they know that. Well, they know this army coming. Well, they trying to build them on. This army right here ain't nothing nice that the Most High gonna resurrect. So what they gonna do in return? Try to get these vicious red-headed giant Vikings and Scandinavians that they know existed back in the day, using serpentine and Luciferian technology to try to bring them back to life. Let me keep reading. Verse 3, Joel chapter 2, verse 3. A fire devours before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land of the Garden of Eden before them, behind them is a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them. This is why they want these giants right here. Nothing shall escape them. Let me see what's up. Okay. Long. Okay, so it says, Uh, Verse 4, the appearance of them is as appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on top of mountains shall they flee. Like a noise of flame of fire that devours the stubble, as a strong people that set in battle array. Before their faces the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men. That's what these are. These Scandinavian giants they trying to resurrect is mighty men. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the walls like men of war, and they shall march everyone on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. Neither shall one of them thrust another. They shall walk everyone in his path, and when they shall fall upon them with the sword, they shall not be wounded. Can't kill them. So they already understand this coming. So they trying to concoct them an army that's gonna counter that. Gotta understand that. And they got you thinking there's some kind of well, the average person don't even know the understanding of that, Ezekiel 37. But they do. And they see all the signs. As we speak, Israel, the Israel is on fire. So yeah. Any comments?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Aren't they gonna war against each other? In other words,
Yeah. That's what they're doing right now over there. They right now is they warring against each other because you got all these misinformation gurus that don't know what they're talking about. Palestinians ain't tied to Israel no kind of way. Palestinians is akin to the Israelis. They ain't no kin to the Israelites. But so the story goes, the Palestinians was the you know is kin to the Israelites, but they ain't. So they warring against each other already.
So, Leonard, you said the Palestinians are kin to the who?
To the Israelis, Edomites.
Okay.
They come out of they tied to the Khazars. Them Khazarians that's over there in Israel. Only a small remnant is Edomites. The Zionists, the so-called Zionists, is Edomites. But the majority of the Jewry that's over there in Israel and connected to Israel come out of Caucasus Mountains, Khazarians.
So, did you already explain the difference in the Khazarians and the Edomites? Are they not in league together?
Yeah, they merged. They became one people.
Okay.
Edom.
Okay.
Edom is yeah.
Okay.
Chetam, which is one of the sons of Japhet, and Esau became one nation, Edom.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So, anybody else got anything on that? So, like I was saying before, when you understand how these people operate, you're gonna look at this right here because, like I said, it's all being set up, and time running out, and they use these Israelis been they the ones that, as I said last night, they sunk the Lusitania. When you go do your research on that, they're the ones. Then that's how they brought America into the other war, and they went and told the powers to be at the time that we got let me see if there's Great Britain, because Great Britain was ruling the world at that time. They told Great Britain, if this is how they got the land of Israel. They told Great Britain, give us the land of Israel, Palestine, we want it back. Then they forefathers already told the Most High they was coming back. So they at work behind the scenes trying to get back to the land of Israel. So they told Great Britain, Churchill, give us the land of the Balfour Agreement, give us the land of Israel, and we're gonna get America in this war. Just go get us just sign these papers. And no sooner than they signed the papers, they went over there, that Secret Service Mossad that's in Israel, and they attacked that Lusitania and make them think that it was the Russians or the Germans. And that's what brought America into the war. Well, we see they had to work again right now. America's supposed to be the big brother for Israel. And so right now they're in an all-out war. You know, if they over there fighting against Hamas tied to the whole Islamic world. So it's like their little brother. So you ain't gonna sit there and let your little brother keep on getting beat down till eventually they're gonna come. So they either one trying to spearhead World War III. And it's coming. Like I said, their demonic uncle and already told you it's gonna be 3 world wars. They already had 2. The Albert Pike. Okay, let me get this. And this here is just a witness to it right here. So it says right here, this is how we get be brainwashed. It says place the blame on Gaza, place the blame for the Gaza war where it belonged, right? So it says, as Israel continues to defend itself against a brutal war begun by Hamas and the launching of thousands of missiles against the civilian population is nothing less than a war. Many are seeking to attach blame for Israel's challenging circumstances. One day, when dust hopefully settles, fair-minded people will study this conflict and assess what could have been done better to avoid the loss of life and destruction of property. But regardless of how that our analyst plays out, the undeniable villains in this conflict will always be and will only be Hamas. See that? And its cohorts, as the Islamic people, the Palestinian Authority and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. There it is. Albert Pike already told you that long time ago. So let's look at it. See how they setting it up? Picture is worth 1,000 words. Say, blaming Israel has become a reflective reaction from the progressive crowd because Israel is stronger than the Palestinians, they argue. It also must be a bad actor. To those in the America struggling with identity politics run amok, this must strike a familiar, irrational theme. The strategy, I can't say that word, with which the left criticizes Israel suggests that rockets shot at civilians is a common occurrence in the geopolitics, and that there is an established manual by which nations are instructed to defend themselves that Israel somehow is violating. Of course, this type of, like I said, go back to how they program us. You know, we just unconsciously they're gonna make it look like, you know, the underdog is Israel. So unconsciously, a person's gonna jump with the underdog. He says, of course, this type of barbaric assault happens almost exclusively against Israel, with the exception of other jihadi-inspired conflicts such as the attacks from Yemen on Saudi Arabia. Significantly, no critics of Israel has ever identified a less lethal means by which Israel could defend itself. So they got you thinking that Israel is helpless against all these. But the thing about it is, they already told you Israel is leading the world in armory,
Exactly.
and technology. So all these America and all the other countries getting all they weapons technology from Israel. So how they so indefensible? They stay so vulnerable. Actually, it's the other way around. The Hamas is vulnerable. All they got is them little bitty 18, 19 missiles they got, because they ain't no up-to-date missile. They might have a few, but most of them is you know, they outdated. Half of them feeds out before they even shoot. They got you thinking that Hamas so dangerous. when it's Israel that's dangerous.
Right.
Yeah. Israel the beast. Okay.
Question.
Okay. What you got?
Does World War III automatically mean Armageddon? Mean Gog and Magog, or World War III is just the beginning of that, and then at some point the conclusion is Gog and Magog? What do you think?
Well, you can just call it just the final conflict.
Okay.
It's all of it tied together. I mean, it was a question posed last night about where is Israel going to be at during that time. So all you have to do is it's the same God. It's the same God that's going to defend us now, the Lord of hosts. Michael the Archangel, that's the most high strong one. He took Israel, and when you look at the geographics of that, he took Israel and had them in Goshen.
Exactly.
And he went to work on Egypt,
Yes.
And then you had giants over in land of Canaan. He had them, they had a adversary on both sides, but he had them protected in Goshen.
Yes.
So he already told you in Jeremiah 29:14, he's gonna bring us back to the west coast of Africa.
Right.
So you say, well, what you talking about? Well, believe it or not, after Antioch Epiphanes came and a remnant of the Israelites, of over 1 million of them fled into West Africa, they was in a place of safety.
Yes.
All that time. They were still multiplying, they were still growing, they still knew who they was. Then the prophecy caught up with them.
Exactly.
And the Arab and the transatlantic slave trade took place. But while they was over there, they was in a place of safety as far as their DNA being challenged.
Exactly.
Because, like I say, there ain't nothing new under the sun. Adam's DNA was challenged during the time of the flood because it wasn't nobody left but Noah and Shem and their wives. That was the only pure blood that was left from Adam's descendants. That's why he had to come when he did to preserve that bloodline.
And are you saying, Leonard, when the Most High put them in the ark, that was protecting that seed?
Right. It's the only one left. The only two humans, males that came from Adam that looked like Adam. That's how much debauchery and sexual perversion was going on the planet.
Right.
It was only two of them left. Adam, and that's why he said Adam is perfect in his generation.
Right.
So what's this? That's in telling a whole lot because we look in the book of Enoch and he say watches. Well, when they had to be watching to know it was only two left.
That's right.
So to say watches ain't some foreign word or somebody that the Israelites can concoct it.
It's just something that it's an understanding that they have kept from us.
Right. Exactly. Then it says, then also you got to understand that they didn't flip that all around because watchers and gods and angels are the same thing.
Right.
And, same terminology. And then I'm saying that because you'd be amazed at how many people don't know that.
Right. So one last thing, Leonard, when we think about or when we have a concern for how the Lord of Hosts is going to show up on the scene and we're expecting that he's going to destroy America along with some other nations, we can kind of look back at what he did in past times, like you say, during the time that he whipped Egypt's butt, he had the Israelites safely tucked away in Goshen.
Right.
And so we can expect him to do the same things, because I know I think about how is that going to go down? How is he going to destroy America and some other nations? And how will he, protect his people that he wants to take back to their land?
Right. Exactly. Right. So with that understanding, like I was saying before, Most High tells us, look at his creation. You know, a lot of things can be made simple by looking at his creation. So I told you about, you know, I'm out of the South, and we had chickens.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a hen. She's maybe sitting on 15, 20 eggs, and
Mm-hmm.
then when they hatch, then she transformed. You, you know, she on defense mode.
Yes.
Where before she had them eggs, she was nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, when she had them chicks, you better not come around there. And so what happens is, you know, because I always pay attention to that type of stuff. So it's 20 of them, 30 of them running around a little bit chicks. Just they come out the egg running. So so they just be eating, pecking around, getting stuff. Then when a cat or something come up that's defensive, they stop chirping.
Mm.
And then she stopped, put her wings up. All of them run up under her wings. She put her wings down. You can't see them.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then some of them that might can't get to her wings, they run off in the bushes, but they stop chirping. You don't know where they at. And then when the danger clear, the ones that didn't get to her wings, then they ease on over there and come under her wings, right?
Yes.
So you say, what you talking about? Well, it's a debate raging right now. I'm telling you, the God in the Old Testament ain't the same as the God in the New Testament. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm also telling you that the God in the Old Testament is an angel.
Mm.
He got wings, right?
Come on. Yes. Yes.
So you say, well, what you talking about? You gone crazy. So let's look at it. We in the last book of the Old Testament, and I'm gonna let you deal with it on your own time. So I'm in chapter 4, last chapter of the Old Testament. For
Malachi.
behold, yeah, chapter 4, based on the scenario I just told you.
Okay.
For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts. I'm told you all on Prophets of Awakening, on Israel Wake Up, and on this channel here that the Lord of hosts is an angel.
Mm-hmm.
So it says that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. That's who talking, right? This angel. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise. Look at this, with healing in his wings.
Come on now.
See that?
Yes.
So we just talked about where we're gonna be at. He's gonna take us on the west coast of Africa. And what we gonna do? Like the little chicks. Run up on his wings.
Come on now.
Stop
Yes.
talking. Stop talking. Because they're looking for us. We're gonna stop talking. And he run up on his wings. So he says, arise with healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves in a stall, and ye shall tread down the wicked. Who gonna do that? I just read in Joel. And they shall be as ashes under the soles of their feet in the day that I shall do this, saith the Lord of hosts. Remember ye the laws of Moses, which I commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel with statutes and judgment. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet. We're gonna deal with that in a minute later on in the class. I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And he shall turn the hearts of the children of the fathers to the children, and the children, the little chicks, to their
Mm.
fathers.
Mm.
Lest I come and smite the earth. Okay.
Yes.
So we see that.
Yes.
So may be simple, but yeah, it is.
Yes. Thank
I
you.
like that. Yeah. Okay.
Mm. That was
So
powerful.
anybody got anything on that? Or anything they want to comment on that or whatever? Okay. So well, I felt like we had a pretty good class last night. People that was on there, did y'all get anything out of that? You know.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah. So I had made a statement on there, and I'm just bouncing off of it right here. I was talking about how Elijah and Jesus and all that. So what I'm talking about today on the Sabbath class is going in on Elijah, Elisha, John the Baptist, and Jesus Christ. So we're gonna pick it up, with the fact that we're gonna make this plain, like I said, because the time ain't looking too good for us. So it says, I'm in First Kings. Well, let me go to Matthew 3 first. So what I'm showing you is that it's a joke on how these people, what they did and how they concocted this. Like I said, it looked good. It looked good, but you know, it's just like Yale University. The campus look good, but it's wicked as hell. So I'm in chapter 3. And so we know what I just read was Malachi chapter 4. The Most High closed up the book. But he said the book gonna be open again at the end days. When he opened it up, he gonna bring Elijah back to open it up. But these wicked people over here, the Gentiles and Esau, they want to open it up before that. But they concocted this idol at the Council of Nicaea, so they want the book opened up before that to incorporate him into the story. So in order to do that, they got to go back to Elijah. But Elijah been taken. When you know the story, he was taken. So here we go right here. I'm in chapter 3. It says, in those days came John the Baptist. Came John the Baptist. Somebody doing the most. It
Yeah,
says,
I'm trying to find out where you are because you mentioned two different things. Which book are you
I'm in Matthew chapter 3.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, it says, in those days came John the Baptist, preaching in the wilderness of Judea. See that? Preachers in the wilderness of Judea, saying, repent ye, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. So what we looking at Hollywood. That's what we're looking at right here. It says, for this is he that was spoken of by the prophet Isaiah, saying, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord. Make his, see, they got to bring in his idol. They didn't concoct. So they went to the scriptures to find some scenario to bring him in. So it says, for this is he that was spoken by the prophet Isaiah, saying, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make his path straight. The same John and his raiment of camel hair and laden girdle about his loins, and his meat was locusts and wild honey. Then went out, look at this, then went out to him Jerusalem and all Judea and all, look at this, all the region round about Jordan, and were baptized of him in the Jordan, confessing their sins, right? So they concocted this idol at the Council of Nicaea. They got to get him in the Old Testament. The Old Testament closed up, but he told you before he closed it, I'm gonna bring Elijah. So they got to bring us a character like Elijah back on the scene to open the book back up, to make you think the book open. So here we go. Now we in First Kings. Remember where John the Baptist is, the geographical location. He's around the Jordan River. So now we in First Kings, right? First Kings, chapter 17. First Kings, chapter 17. All right, I'm starting at verse 1. This Elijah. So they had, like I said, typology. Now you got to go back and look at it and find somebody, the character that can fit. Well, remember, you're dealing with types. So, chapter 17, and Elijah Tishbite, who was of the inhabitants of Gilead, said unto Ahab, as the Lord God of Israel liveth, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain 3 years, but according to my word. And the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, get thee hence and turn. So now Ahab trying to kill him. The word of the Lord came unto him, saying, get thee hence and turn the eastward and hide thyself by the brook Cherith, that is beyond the Jordan. See that? So there ain't no coincidence that John the Baptist is around the Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
So 4, and it shall be that thou shalt drink of the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there. So he went and did according unto all the words of the Lord. And he went and dwelt by the brook Kadra that is before Jordan. And the ravens brought him bread and flesh in the morning, and bread and flesh in the evening, and they drank and he drank of the brook. And it came to pass after that, while that the brook dried up, because there had been no rain in the land. So we see right here, when they came over John the Baptist, he had to be around the area of Jordan, because that's where Elijah was at.
Mm-hmm.
He had to be around there. So it said that he had a. Let's go back to Matthew right quick. Don't be jumping around. So only Matthew 3, and it says. So I'm just painting a picture for you. You do with it what you want. So he says, in chapter 3, it said that verse 4 says, chapter 3 of Matthew and 4 says, and the same John and his raiment. See, why you got to mention this? And the same John and his raiment of camel hair, and lantern girdle about his loins, and his meat was locusts and fish. So why is he saying that? So let's go to Isaiah chapter 40. Isaiah chapter 40. So all they did was went back and looked at God, looked at what was going on in the Old Testament and painted this picture in the New Testament. So I'm in chapter 40. And this had nothing to do with no prophecy in the future. So it says 41, comfort ye my people, says the Lord. So he telling them, Isaiah, to comfort the people, because the Babylonians will come.
Mm-hmm.
So, speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned, for she have received the Lord's hand double for her sin. So we already know who overseeing, right?
Yes.
Everybody know who overseeing. So ain't nobody got to come in the future about the sin, because it's an angel, the Lord of hosts over the sin.
Mm-hmm.
So he telling them right here that her iniquity, sin, is pardoned. It's an angel dealing with that. So 3, the voice of him that crieth in the wilderness. See that? That's where they got that from.
Mm.
The voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare ye the way for the Lord. What the Lord is, the Lord of hosts.
That's right.
See that?
Yes.
Make in the desert a highway out our Lord. So it's all, like I said before, all these clown did was just like on the internet, when dragging and paste. All he do is really got something with that with the little thing and dragged it over there. Ain't nothing holy, ain't nothing holy about that. So let's look at it. Verse 4. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low. And every valley shall be made low, and the crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. So see that neither one of them had nothing to do with each other, but just because of it was similar, and Elijah was, so they went and got that through typology and stuck it over there and made it look like it was tied to John the Baptist.
Yes.
Okay, see that?
Yes.
So now I showed you how it was the Most High tell us. Let me look at it right quick. The Most High says, and you got to get this. I mean, Obadiah. Okay. Obadiah. So he says, in here, the vision of Obadiah, verse 1, ain't but one chapter. The vision of Obadiah, thus said the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, an ambassador sent among the heathen. Arise ye and let us go, let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, look at this. I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. So why are they greatly despised? Because they wicked as hell. But they small. And we just discussed that 95% of the people that's calling themselves Jews today is Khazarians. But the Zionists ain't that many of them. So when you see all this over here written in red, over in the New Testament, it said Jesus saying it, this little remnant right here is the one who wrote that. They concocted that. And then they created this character that they concocted as Council Seal. Now they got him saying what they want everybody to do when they read it. So reading the So you say, well, what are you talking about? Well, I just showed you how Elijah ain't died. So John the Baptist can't be Elijah.
Come on now.
So Elijah is up in heaven waiting to fulfill Malachi chapter 4.
Yes.
So he ain't none Elijah. So I'm showing you that this little small group contingent of Edomites is the ones talking. It ain't JC, you know. They literary geniuses. They got you thinking Jesus saying it, but they saying it to concoct something for you. So let's go look at it. So we see the character John the Baptist is a forest. Well, let's go to Matthew chapter 11. See what these Edomites say, because JC ain't talking. So I'm in chapter 11. Chapter 11, verse 14. You know what they say. So I'm gonna start at verse 10. Well, 8. But what went ye out to see? A man clothed in soft raiment. Behold, that they wear soft clothing or in king's house. But what went ye out to see? A prophet. Yea, I say unto you, and more than a prophet. For this is he. Remember Isaiah 43 and 10. Lord, I'll tell you, it's him. It's me. I am he. So now it says right here, for this is he, of whom it is written, behold, I send a messenger before thy face, which shall prepare the way before thee. Verily, I say unto you, among them that are born of a woman, there had not risen greater than John the Baptist, notwithstanding that he is less in the kingdom of heaven. In heaven is greater than he. So what we looking at? I'm telling you, is a group of a think tank, Edomite think tank that wrote this. So in order to bring JC on the scene, they got to create this character right here, and then they got to build him up.
Yes.
So verse 11 says, verily I say unto you, among them that are born of a woman, there is none greater than John the Baptist. Well, hell, John, Elijah, Jeremiah, none of them don't know no John the Baptist. The Most High said that Moses is nobody greater than Moses.
That's right.
Now all of a sudden, it's John the Baptist. Let's read. Hold up, let's read.
Yes.
So I don't want you to think I'm concocting this. So numbers. Make sure it's number first before I do it. No, Deuteronomy. Yeah, I mean Deuteronomy, chapter 34.
Okay.
So it says, okay, I'm in 34 and starting at verse 9. And Joshua the son of Nun was full of the spirit of wisdom, for Moses had laid hands upon him, and the children of Israel hearkened unto him and did as the Lord had commanded. Now here we go. You're gonna believe what Matthew talking about, his Edomite think tank or Lord of hosts. 10. There arose not a prophet since in Israel like it unto Moses, whom the Lord saw face to face.
Okay.
John the Baptist ain't talked to the Lord face to face. So he's telling you right here, Moses, ain't nobody greater than Moses. But these clowns want to bring in this idol that they concocted. So verse 11 says, verily I say unto you, among them that are born of a man, of a woman, Moses was born of a woman, says, there have not risen a greater than John the Baptist.
Come on now.
That's a lie from the pits of hell.
Yes.
Notwithstanding that is less in the kingdom of heaven is greater. Now, 12. And on the days of John the Baptist, see, you already started out in a lie. So if 11 a lie, 12 a lie. It says, on the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and the violence taken it by force. For all the prophets and all the law prophesied unto John. Look at that. So now here we go. 14. And if ye can receive it, see that?
Yeah.
It's an Edomite think tank setting you up. If you receive it, this is Elijah.
Come on now.
Which was for to come.
No way. No way.
So what's he showing you? This ain't Jesus talking. It's a group of con artists that them concocted this. And so Egyptian Book of the Dead is written in red.
Mm.
Everything Horus said is written in red. So they took that concept, brought it over here, concocted this idol, and now he's saying everything he said is written in red.
Mm-hmm.
So now with him saying with 14, and if ye receive it, this is Elijah, which was for to come. So what is it? What have you accomplished? You open the New Testament up.
Yeah.
You open the Old Testament up now, because now John the Baptist is Elijah.
Exactly.
But I said it's close to the end. Elijah ain't came yet.
And Leonard, they had to get Elijah. They couldn't get nobody else.
Right. So now it's open back up. Now he can open the Bible up just by telling you that John the Baptist is Elijah.
Yes.
I just read over there in chapter 4 of Malachi, the last chapter, that he's gonna send Elijah back in the latter days.
That's right.
So they got you thinking Elijah came back and brought JC in.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
You got to get that. If you don't get it today, make you a copy of this, and while you wash the dishes, let it play.
Come on.
It might make, it's gonna, get you right. So anyway, so we see that's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to 10 and 34. 34 through 5 show you another setup. It said, think not that I am come. This is JC. He telling you, think not that I have come to send peace on the earth. I come not in to send peace, but a sword. So who we know coming back in the end?
Come on, Michael.
Right. See that? 35. For I have come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. So I don't know about nobody else. I mean, in Louisiana, they had the church system was set up with Baptist church. They had all these little pockets and like BTU and choir and all these different stuff. So you was indoctrinated, and you was told that when you get awakened or you become born again, then you're gonna be against your mother, and your mother might not be born again. You get the father because you love Jesus. But lo and behold, 2021, now we found out who the Lord is. The Lord of hosts, right? Well, who you gonna get killed quicker by your kinfolks telling them that Michael is the archangel, Michael is the Lord of hosts and the Redeemer, or Jesus?
You gonna get killed quicker by telling them Michael is the Lord of hosts.
So they took this concept right here, stuck it over here, put it on JC, and took Michael out of the picture.
Yes.
Because you tell some Negroes now who the Lord of hosts is and the Redeemer, and he was there from the beginning, you might come up missing.
Yes.
And your own kinfolks in your household.
Mm-hmm.
See that? So it says, for I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against the mother, and the daughter-in-law against his mother-in-law, and a man foes shall be they of his own household.
Yes.
And you tell me which one it is. Now the truth sitting there staring you in the face. So 37 says,
wow.
He that loveth the father or the mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth the son and daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he taketh not the cross. See that? What cross? And Isaiah, Jeremiah, none of them ain't talking about no cross.
That's right.
Nobody, none of them. Not even the wicked priest of Baal for Ahab. They ain't even talking about no cross. And follow after me is not worthy of me. He that finds his life shall lose it, and he that loses his life for my sake shall find it.
Wow, they set us up real good.
Right. So should that not be anybody else that know anything about the truth? Is that not a witness right there? Because when you found out who really was our Redeemer and Savior, is when you got life.
Yes.
See that?
Yes.
Come on now. So, yeah. Any comments?
Leonard, that scripture that you read about the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence. You know, that's a premier scripture
Right.
in Christendom, and it makes you want to fight for Jesus. You understand what I'm saying? So that is that applicable to the Lord of hosts in any way? The kingdom of heaven suffereth violence. The violence that is suffered is that they covered up Michael, as far as I'm concerned at this point.
Well, right. Well, if you turn there, it was a war in heaven, right?
Yes.
Who's the one stirred the war up?
Satan,
Lucifer, right?
Lucifer.
And then what happened?
And he suffered violence. He got kicked out.
Right. So the kingdom of heaven suffered violence, caused Lucifer, but the Lord of hosts and his angel did what?
Took it by force. Took it back.
Kicked him out.
Kicked him out. Okay.
Right. So all they doing, like I said, they could try and a baboon to do it. They just took the story from the real Redeemer, put him like he told you in Psalms 89. They took David's sword, turned it down to the ground, and made him look like a chump in battle.
Yeah.
When then David was mighty, Most High said David one foot on the land and the other foot in the river.
Yes.
So they done denigrated him and the Lord of hosts. So,
yeah.
Anyway, so I'm gonna deal with this Matthew 3 and 4 right quick. I had read it earlier, but I will go to another verse that's gonna edify about the reason why they're telling you John the Baptist got on this rough garment. I'm in Zechariah chapter 13. Right quick, move on. Zechariah 13 and 4. 13 verse 4 says, 13 verse 4 says, and it shall come to pass it shall come to pass in that day that the prophet shall be ashamed every one of his vision when he have prophesied, neither shall they wear a rough garment to the sea. See that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's where they're getting that from. Everything you see over in the New Testament, they've been over there for a reason and found it.
And plagiarize.
Right. So now I'm at we keep coming to the end of this. So I'm showing you how that Elijah, right? They had to go get a character when they concocted JC. So we got the story of Elijah and Elisha. Both of them, Elijah did pretty much 7 miracles, and then when he was being taken up, when the chariot came to get him, his mantle fell. Elisha got the mantle, and Elijah prophesied to him right before that he was going to get a double portion. He got a double portion. So he's Elijah got did 7 miracles. If Elisha got a double portion, he did 14 miracles.
Okay.
So when they concocted JC, we see they got everything else from over there. Well, didn't JC do a lot of miracles?
Yes, he did.
So let's look at it. So at least Elijah's miracles was he caused it not to rain in the land of Israel for 3.5 years. He was fed by ravens. A barrel of meal, he caused that barrel of meal and the food or oil to not go empty. And he caused fire to come down from heaven. He parted the Jordan River. Then he was caught up to heaven. That ought to ring a bell to you. He was caught up. Now Elisha, miracle, purified a spring of water in Jericho. He multiplied the widow's oil just like Elijah did. He Shunammite woman brought her son back to life. And purified a poisonous stew that they had. And he multiplied loaves of bread. Come on now.
Come on now. No, he didn't, Leonard.
Yeah. We should multiply loaves of bread. Then he caused an axe to float on the water. Then he also just like Elijah parted the Jordan, right? So now let's go to the New Testament and see what JCD said. He charged, he changed water into wine. See, he healed the fisher's son. Look at this. He raised the widow's son. Ain't that what Elisha and Elisha did?
Right.
Calm the water on the storm. Ain't that what Elisha and Elijah did?
Yes.
Then look at this. Fed 5,000 with fish and bread.
Come on.
That's what Elisha did. Then he raised Lazarus.
Wow.
Both of them raised men from the dead. Then he brought Jairus' daughter back to life. So all they did was went over there. But let's look at this right quick, because I want to show you something. Like I said, what you have to understand, all these people did was just wrote this down.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing holy about it. Ain't no holy oil on it. Ain't nothing holy about it.
Mm.
So let's look at this. Oh, my bad. I did that wrong. Okay. Let me get over here with this. Okay. Okay, here you go. See that? You see that?
Uh-uh.
Anybody see that on the screen?
We see it, but it's small, Leonard.
Oh, okay. Let me see what I can do. I'll go over here. I know it's gonna get even smaller.
Yeah. Might just have to go with it like that, Leonard.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, man, I clicked the wrong button. Sorry about that. So like I was saying before, let me go back over here. My bad. Getting excited. So it's that, I mean, you can't see it, but it's Jesus, all these miracles Jesus did right here.
Wow.
That all of a sudden. Now, we saw what Elisha and Elijah did, so now they came back. Elisha had a double portion.
So
Elijah
they
did, so he came back with a triple portion.
right. That's what I was thinking too.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like I told
Wow.
you, most I just told you, ain't no Moses went up on Mount Sinai and went up in this thick cloud where the Yahweh was at, and he talked to him face to face. But what you call it, come out there eating grasshoppers with a little cloth around him, so he grabbed their nose.
Yes.
Come on,
Wow.
we ain't been rightly dividing that.
Mm.
So now the Christian, the first thing he gonna do, he got to talk about John the Baptist, because when they concocted, they had to build John the Baptist up in order to build him up.
Yes.
You can't talk about one or the other. You can't talk about one without the other one, because that's the process they use to set it up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let me get out of this.
So Leonard, is John the Baptist looked upon as a prophet?
Yeah, he's a prophet.
Okay.
That's why when you go back to it, it's saying that the prophet crying in the wilderness.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So Elijah a prophet, but then he had to turn him into the whole sole purpose of John the Baptist was to open the book back up that the Most High had closed up.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand that.
Wow.
Right. So let's look at this. I want to go on in a little further. So it says, let me get this. Yeah. So I'm in Matthew And then you got to understand that when you read this, what it's doing to your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So let's look at this right quick. Now you got to go back to before you came in contact with Prophets of Awakening and all that. You know where you was at. You was way out in the middle of the Atlantic, and there wasn't no boats and no life rafts or nothing.
Right.
So let's look at this. Matthew chapter 11, verse. Let me make sure I got it right. 11 and 19.
Okay.
Matthew 11 and 19 says, let me get it. Says, I'm going to start at verse 17. And saying, we have piped unto you, and we have not danced, and we have mourned unto you, and ye have not laminated. For John came neither eating nor drinking, that they said under he have a devil. 19. The Son of Man, see that? The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, behold, a man gluttonous and a wine bibber, a friend of publicans and a sinner. The wisdom is justified of her children. So they saying that when Jesus Christ came, he was prophesied Messiah, but when he came, the Son of Man, Jesus the Son of Man, when he came, they called him a wine bibber and a friend of the Republicans, of the Republicans. So Jesus the Son of Man. Now, chapter 12, verse 8. I'm in chapter 12, verse 8. I'm going to start at verse 5. Say 4. How he entered into the house of God and did eat the showbread, which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priests. Or have ye not read in the law how that the Sabbath days and the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath day and are blameless? But I say unto you that in this place is one greater. See, remember what they did with with John the Baptist. All of a sudden, he greater than Moses.
Right.
One greater than the temple. So he greater than the temple. Okay. 7. But if ye have known what this meaneth, I will have mercy and not sacrifice. Yea, you would not have condemned the gluttonous, the guiltless. Now, 8. Here we go. For the Son of Man is Lord, even of the Sabbath day.
Come on.
Now he's over the Sabbath day. But notice in both these verses I went to, Matthew 11 and 19 and 12 and 8, they call him the Son of Man.
Yes.
See that? So let's look at it. Now, we got this newly found book that we came in contact with, the book of Enoch.
Yes.
So let's go there and look at it right quick. It says, chapter 71. Like I said, I hope this helping somebody.
It's helping. Big time. Big time.
Man, come on, man. I'm in chapter 71 of Enoch. I'm trying to get to it, okay? So I'm in chapter 71, verse 23. I'm going to start at 22. And an angel who talked with me, Enoch up in heaven, and the angel who talked with me came to me and greeted me with his voice and said unto me, this is the Son of Man.
Come on.
Who is born under righteousness, and righteousness abides over him, and righteousness of the head of days forsake him not. For he said unto me, he proclaims unto peace in the name of the world to come. It's the world to come. See that? So we told you JC was prophesied about to come. But he's telling you right here, Enoch is Son of Man. See that? This is the Son of Man who is born under righteousness, and righteousness abides over him, and righteousness of the head of days forsake him not. And he said unto me, he proclaimed unto thee peace in the name of the worlds to come.
Mm.
So now you see why the book of Enoch is not there. Because he the son, Enoch the son of man.
Right.
So they didn't put that title on him. So they can't put the book of Enoch in the Bible.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to see that. Yeah.
Wow.
So
That
now
was Enoch 71 and what verse, Leonard?
23.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So with that being said, we got a few more things to deal with. So it says, I'm in Matthew. So you gotta understand they used John the Baptist to open back up the Old Testament. Well, the very first book they had, the first book they did when they opened up the New Testament is Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we're dealing with Matthew. It's the first book. So anyway, I'm in Matthew 1. And I'm verse 21, 23. Says, and she, look at this. Like I was talking about this on 4, 5, 6, 7 different occasions, and it seemed as if people wasn't aware of what was going on. So 21 says, and she, look at this, and she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins. 22. Now all this is done that it may be fulfilled which is spoken of by the Lord, saying, this is why I keep on going to Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14.
Right.
Right? So it says, behold, a virgin shall be with child and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted, God with us.
Right.
Okay, so we're gonna look at this because, like I said, Creator, we know he's omnipotent.
That's right.
And he know, he don't make no mistakes. He can't make no mistakes. So 21, now, like I said, you could train a baboon to do this. So 21 says, and she shall bring forth. He already denigrated the verse anyway. Isaiah 7 and 14 has already been denigrated, but we're gonna go all the way in. 21, and she shall bring forth a son, right? And thou shalt call his name Jesus. See that?
Yes.
Jesus. Like I said, go back to word etymology, right? Jesus. For he shall save his people from their sin. Now we in 23. Behold, the same thing being said again. Behold, a virgin shall be with child and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel. See
right.
That?
Right.
So what his name is?
Which one is it?
Which one his name is? Like I said, use word etymology.
Right.
So that's like me saying in verse 21, the boy name gonna be called Rodney. Then I go to 23, now his name Wilbur.
Right. Yeah.
Come on, man. So
right.
we've been fumbling with this. So now let's go over and deal with this Emmanuel. So I'm in Isaiah chapter Isaiah 8 and 10.
Okay.
Let me get it. Okay, 8 and 10. Isaiah 8 and 10 says, take counsel together, and it shall come to naught. Speak the word, and it shall not stand, for God is with us. That's what Emmanuel means.
Yes.
When you say, oh, Emmanuel, that's all I'm saying. So we are people that deal with slang, Hebrew idioms. Just like he said, I told you over there, those that did escape.
That's right.
He said the serpent gonna lick the dust of the ground up. All these Hebrew idioms. This one, right? God is with us. Oh, Emmanuel. There ain't no son. It's just, oh, God is with us. Sometimes they'll put God is with us. Sometimes they put, oh, Emmanuel. Okay, well, we ain't gonna even go that far from the tree. Go to Isaiah 8 and 8. Same chapter. Same chapter. You there?
Yes.
And he shall pass through Jordan, he shall overflow and go over, and he shall reach even to the neck, and at the stretching out of his wings shall feel the breath of thy land. What?
Oh,
Oh,
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel.
Yes. Oh,
Verse
God
8,
with us.
verse 8 and 10 saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's go see what these clowns did. 7 and 14. Isaiah 7 and 14.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive, bear a son, and shall call his name what?
Emmanuel.
Yeah. So we see what they done. So how I know what that? Go back up to verse 10. He says the situation is Isaiah, these two kings will come and try to destroy Jerusalem. So Lord deal with signs. So Isaiah asked him, if you don't believe what he's gonna do, tell me to give you a sign, like he did with all other people.
Yes.
A sign. So verse 10 says, moreover, the Lord spake again unto Ahaz, saying, ask thee. He said, ask my God, ask the Lord host for a sign. It says, ask thee a sign of the Lord, thy God. Ask it either in the depths or in the heights above. But Ahaz scared of him. You don't want no judgment to come on him. So he said, but Ahaz said, I would not ask, neither will I tempt the Lord. He ain't trying to get hurt.
Exactly.
So I ain't doing that. I got some kind of understanding. So 13 says, and he said, here now. So Isaiah, being a prophet that he is, say, he gonna give you a sign anyway. And he
Right.
said, hear ye now, O house of David. It is a small thing for you to weary me, but to weary my God. Now here we go. So here go the sign. 14. The God also, therefore, the Lord himself shall give you a sign. See that?
Mm-hmm.
Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son. See that?
Yes.
That's it. Okay, look at it. Therefore, the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son. Oh, Emmanuel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what was there.
Right.
How we know that? Because the answer over in chapter 8, verse 1. After he told him the virgin going to Bula, a woman of marital age, gonna have a son.
Yes.
And it's for Ahaz. It ain't for us. It's for Ahaz. So chapter 8. Moreover, the Lord said unto me, after he said he's gonna have give a son, the virgin gonna have a son, he goes over here. 8 and 1. Moreover, the Lord said unto me, take thee a great roll and write in it for a man's pen. Okay, I'm wrong. Yeah, for a man's pen concerning basketball. And I took unto me of faith. This is the name of the son right here. My heart, that's his name. It says, and I took unto me a faithful witness to record Uriah the priest and Zechariah the son of me. So he took two witnesses, and I went unto the prophetess. This is the woman of marital age right here.
Right.
His wife, and she conceived and bore a son. Then the Lord said unto me, call his name. See how they took that. Then the Lord said unto me, call his name Emmanuel. So they took it over here, and they took over here and said, and call his name Emmanuel. They took the O off of there and put I on it. Come on.
Right.
So, see that? So
Yeah.
come on. So when like I say, so when you shown all this, you like I say, you can do with it what you want. I'm just showing it to you. So one more thing, then I'm gonna open up for Q&A. So Matthew 13, right quick. Then I'm gonna be through with it.
Matthew 13.
Like I said, we in Matthew for a reason. 13 says, 13 and 1 through 3 says, the same day went Jesus out of the house and said by the sea, and sat by the seashore. A great multitude were gathered together unto him, so that he went into the ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore. And he spake many things. Look at this. He spake many things unto them in parables. So he talking in parables. Well, let's go to Book of Enoch right quick. Chapter 58. chapter 58. So it says, in Enoch 58, it's Enoch, and I began to speak in the third parable concerning the righteous and the elect. So Enoch wrote parable. Enoch spoke in parable.
Mm.
So why is he speaking in parable? Because he'd been to heaven.
Come on.
So Enoch speaking in parables. So Enoch, son of man, Enoch speaking in parables.
Mm-hmm.
Elijah did miracles, 7 miracles. Elisha did 14 miracles. Jesus did triple miracles.
Mm-hmm.
So we see what's happening.
Yes.
Plagiarism, man. They just went over there and getting the stories from our patriarchs and our prophets, and then they just went over there and stuck them over there in the New Testament.
Yes.
That's how they created this character. So I read to you last night that he said, let me read it again. I told you all this stuff coming out of Daniel. A lot of stuff in Revelation come out of Daniel. So I'm in Daniel right quick. I mean Revelation. Based on everything I just showed you. And it says, okay, it says, chapter 13 of the Revelations, when you read it, and then you get over to verse 17, it says, and that no man might buy, sell, save he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is the wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and the number is 666. So if 2 beasts came, right? And when you understand a beast is a system. So he talking about the 4th beast, which is the Roman Empire. When it first came into existence, it wasn't nothing holy about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it got sacked. It received the womb and the head. And the giants, they came in and crushed Rome, the capital of city of Rome, and the Roman Empire went in disarray. It got divided into 4 different parts. Constantine came and warred against those other 3 factions, brought the empire back together again, but he needed a god over it, and he needed a religion. So that's when at the Council of Nicaea, he created the Holy Roman Empire. Then they concocted and needed a god for it. So they looked back, brought all the 16 crucified saviors that was before him, and they came up with a name for a god. That's when they came up with Jesus the Christ, which is one of the gods. 16 crucified saviors was Krishna, and the 2 popular ones was Zeus and Krishna, the Indian god. Zeus, Krishna, Jesus Christ. So once they concocted him, then they had to find a way to put him in the Old Testament and in the Bible.
Right.
Right. So then they had to bring him to life. Look what it say right here. It says, and I heard of let me see. 17, and the dragon I'm in the wrong place. Go back over. Says 18, and here's the wisdom. Let him that understand and count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and the number of the so when they concocted him, just the man they concocted, and they made him, they called the image to speak. That's the right everything he said written in red, called him to speak. But you can't see none of that because it's stuck over in Revelation. But if you put it back where it belongs in Daniel prophesied that they're gonna do that. See, if you put it back where it belongs in the book of Daniel, you're gonna see that it came to pass at the Council of Nicaea. Because Daniel existed during the time of the Babylonians and the Medes and Persians. And then the Greeks came, Greeks and the Romans, then they created the 4 beasts, and then he created this Council of Nicaea, and they created this man, this man God, and then when after they concocted him, then they called it to speak. And so who ruling the world right now? This man they concocted. Come on. Like I said before, I showed you the image of him. Let me do it right quick again. Then I'm opening up a conversation. Okay. Let me get it. 1 minute. like I said, Esau. It's a woman. It's a woman riding on the four beasts. A woman riding in there. And I told you it's a group. It's a group of people. It's a Esau controlling the four beasts. We looking at today. Israel control America.
Mm-hmm.
Israel control Great Britain. Yeah, Israel control Charlemagne. Okay, so let's look at it. There it is right here. See that? Can y'all see that? There go the man right there.
Mm-hmm.
Who is that?
That's Jesus. I
Okay,
mean, that's Michelangelo painting.
right. That's Jesus Christ, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna ask the question like I did last night. Why is Harry? Who controlling the world?
Edom.
Edomite bankers. When Esau was born, what color was his hair?
Red.
Okay. There it is. Concoction. We know damn well that the Israelites wasn't white. So when is this image and when is this was concocted? It was concocted as a full beast. When Constantine created the Constantine sin came up with the God.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean right here. They had to make the God look like them.
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
Wow.
That's hard to fathom, but I just broke it down for you.
Yes.
There it is right there. The man is he concocted, but like I said, he's so crafty, he got all over in the New Testament, and you can't even see that.
Mm-hmm.
So let me give you one more thing. So the same dude right here, the concocted right here, he said that when the day of the Lord come, it's gonna be dark and gloomy and all that, right?
Right.
So show you how they did this. Look at this. I was just over here, Joel. I'm gonna go back to Joel right quick. So Lord talking right here in chapter 2 of Joel, and he says, blow you a trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain, and let all inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord coming. For it is nigh at hand. Look at this, a day of darkness and the gloominess, a day of clouds. See that? Same thing.
Yeah.
JC. So which one is it? Which one is it? The day of the Lord. Is it what Jesus saying, or what the Lord host got Joel saying?
Mm.
See what I'm saying? So
Right.
he used the same terminology and language. The day of the Lord, which is most likely gonna raise up Israel, an army out of Israel to come and defend Israel. Then they put JC over there in order to keep the lie going. They have to give a prophecy in the future to keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting it from an event that the Most High prophesied about from the Old Testament.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So with that being said, I'm gonna open it up. Anybody got any comments or questions? Something they want to bring up before we close out?
Uh, yeah, remember that video about the guy talking about the RH factor in reference to the blood?
You talking about JT?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Did you all talk? Because remember about near the end of his, he was talking about the ice
Right.
and beware something about beware the ice, but the definition just simply means that they're native to the land. And notice
Right. Can you
that. Huh?
can you, can you, can you bring the volume up?
Say it again.
Bring the volume up.
Oh, yeah. The ITE just simply means native to the land. You know, ish. Anyway, I have it here. And so, but okay, so that's like the Perizzites, Moabites, even Israelites. Okay, but that simply means native to the land. But what I don't get is Egypt or Egyptians. Ethiopians are Ethiopians. They're not Ethiopiites or Egyptiites. You understand what I'm saying? So
Right.
give me just if you can look clearly on that one.
Yeah. What you have to understand about that is, uh, if you go to uh, Genesis chapter 10,
Genesis 10.
yeah, this is what the guy was talking, JT was talking about right here. I
Okay.
don't know if you know anything about this, about these verses, but if you go to chapter 12, Genesis chapter 10, verse 12.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, so I was telling you that the origins of the giants came from the 200 angels came down, but nobody tell you the geographical location. They came down with Ham. They came down to Egypt. And
Okay.
so verse 6 says, and the sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim. So Mizraim was a giant. So that let you know this is where the angels came down there in Egypt. They came down and started sleeping with women in Egypt. It says, and put in Canaan, right? Then you go down to verse 12. And Rezin between Nineveh and Caleb, the same as the great city, and Mizraim. See that? So we start with verse 13. Mizraim begot Ludim. That's another giant. And Ludim begot Anum, all these giants. But you notice that during the time of these right here, Most High uh, removed a lot of the fallen angels. So they're getting smaller. Then you see down there in verse 16, the Jebusites. They're they're cut off the giants, but they ain't as big as the giants. See that? The uh, Jebusites, the Amorites, the Girgashites, the Havites, the Archites, all these giants, but they're not as big and as massive as the original giants when they first came down. And if you notice these verse 16, the Jebusites, the Amorites, all of them are the 7 nations that was in the land when the Israelites got there. Go to chapter 15,
Judges.
verse 18. Genesis 15 to 18.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Okay, it says, and in the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abraham, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land. Like you said, they connected to the land. So I have given this land from the river Egypt unto the great river Euphrates, and the Kenites, the Jebusites, you go to all the same one, 7 nations. They connected to the land, but they cuts off of these giants. You see that?
Yes. So, well, remember he talking about Shemite? Was that just
Right,
ethnic? Was it? Yeah, but we don't know
right.
too much
Right.
about Shemite.
They got the Shemites is they got um it's almost it's the same as being able to rightly divide Lord. It's more than one Lord. So you gotta be able to when the scriptures, when they say Lord, looking at the content and what's going on, you can figure out what Lord they talking about. Same right here. You can tell whether these ites are giants or whether they are native people of the land. When they say Shemite, that means the Shem children, they native, that land was given to them.
Exactly.
But when you read right here in Genesis 18, in Genesis 15, these descendants of the giants. They both. They part. They're not necessarily, these people are not necessarily natives of the land because Canaan stole the land. But we know they giants because that's what they was killing. They was when the Israelites came into the land with Joshua and Caleb, and they was killing giants.
All
Yeah.
right. Thanks for clarifying that for me.
Okay. Right. Okay. So anybody else got anything?
Yes. Actually, I'm just going to make a statement. And what I want to say is the thing that has hit me the hardest today is all of that stuff that was written in red for JC was just a think tank.
Right. Exactly. To lead
Well,
you in the direction.
mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Also, when when you get gave clarity back a while ago, it's been about who the Lord of Hosts is. So I prayed and I asked, to be showed who the Jesus character is because I definitely didn't feel comfortable praying in Jesus' name. I never
Right.
did. So, and I was basically saying, forgive me for not doing that if that's what I'm supposed to have been doing.
Mm-hmm.
And the very next day, all this information showed up for me on the computer. And one of them was where I guess a group of Caucasian people did research on Jesus and they found the very thing that you taught on, where
Right.
they typology, he
Mm-hmm.
he he came later, but they trying to say all the stuff that happened, he did. So they connected it. So this that we read about in the Bible where he's supposed to turn the water to wine and all the healing and all that stuff had already happened. All they did was stole it from somebody else and
Right.
added to the.
Exactly. Right.
So, as far as I'm concerned, that put the nail on the coffin for me.
Okay, me too.
Right. So let me show you this right quick, then too, because like I said, it applies, but because of the way they arranged all this, Most High got to step in order for you to know this stuff. So uh, I'm in Daniel. Once it's light is shine on it, it stick out like a sore thumb. So based on what you just said, you said uh, I'm in chapter 7, verse 24. So this Daniel was talking about the four beasts. He says, and the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. So I just told you the story. Constantine, the Roman Empire was divided up into 4 parts. And so Constantine subdued 3 of them. You can't get nobody else out of there but him. So he subdued 3 of the other kings, brought the empire back. That's the 4 beasts. He brought it back, but he wanted to create a religion. So he created Christianity and made Christ the God over Christianity, right? So then, right here, 25. And so in order to do that, he had to find a way to attach him to the Old Testament. So it says right here, 25. And he, Constantine, spake great words against the Most High, right? And he shall wear out the saints of the Most High. Hold on. Wear out the saints of the Most High and think to change times and laws. See that?
Mm-hmm.
We saw what they done. We looking at what they done. They changed everything around. And so change what? The prophecies.
Right.
They changed the prophecies all around. I showed you where they're saying that and put him in the prophecy. All of a sudden now, before the end of the world comes, it's gonna get dark. The sun gonna stop shining and all that, but he gonna show up.
Right.
But we over the Old Testament, the sun gonna get dark and all that, but the Lord of hosts and David gonna show up.
Yeah, the day of the Lord.
But so he right here, it's telling you right here, but you can't put it in perspective because of the way they done it. But it says, and he, Constantine, shall speak great words against the Most High, and he shall wear out the saints of the Most High. That's the Israelites. We wore out right now as we speak. We wore out because of the 4th beast, right? It says, saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hands until the time of the dividing side.
Come on.
So we're talking about one person, Constantine, and what he done. He changed it, flipped everything all around. Okay?
Right.
Yeah.
And speaking of Constantine bringing Jesus on the scene, like you said, his initial motivation was to have one God to unite all of these different religions, right?
Right.
Do you think that he envisions Jesus having the effect that he had over the whole known world?
No. It's like I said, it's even we still looking at the effects of that even to the day because of what they're doing now. is instead of reviving the Bible.
Okay. And they said,
Yeah. Soon as we wake up, you know, they revive it.
Okay.
Figure out something. They come back and change the wording on it and do something else to it.
Right. And getting the gospel artists and everybody involved to perpetuate it. Yeah.
Melanated people.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
Thank you.
that's how that works. Yeah. So, anybody else got anything? Okay. So, let me get this right quick. So we're gonna pick this up in this evening at 6 o'clock. Yeah. So I hope everybody got something out of this and edified some people. So I'm gonna say shalom to everybody.